Today we will take a look at the deep, dark secrets of private investigations and the confidentiality required by you as a professional private investigator. Confidentiality between you, the PI, and your client is of the utmost importance. It is also legally required by most private investigation licensing laws. Well, according to the dictionary, the basic meaning of confidentiality is the state of keeping or being kept secret or private. So for a PI, that means you will keep all information that your client provides to you as confidential. So when you get the next juicy case, don't go calling all of your friends and other PIs and telling them all of the gory details about the case. You can, however, share certain pieces of information for things like training, providing examples, as long as you don't provide identifiable information. So, when is it okay for you to give confidential information to someone other than your client? There are a few situations that would make it okay to break confidentiality. The first is with your client's consent, of course. If your client consents to you giving the information to someone else, well, then you can provide that information. Of course, I would recommend that you get the consent in writing just in case. The second reason you might break confidentiality is when you are required to by a court of law. Remember, the police cannot require you to give out confidential information, nor can an attorney. Public interest and public safety is another consideration to breach confidentiality. However, this is highly subjective, to say the least. If you had information where you felt there was a credible threat of terrorism or a violent attack on a victim, a witness, somebody else, you may be required to provide that information to the authorities. You can also reveal confidential information to your investigative team that is working with you on the case. This would be on a need-to-know basis. You should have a confidentiality clause in your contract as well to protect yourself as well as your client. An added benefit to having a confidentiality clause in your contract is that you will give your clients some peace of mind knowing that you are contractually obligated to confidentiality. A basic confidentiality clause in your contract might look something like this. Confidentiality non-disclosure. This portion of the agreement is for the purpose of preventing the unauthorized disclosure of confidential information as defined below. The parties agree to enter into a confidential relationship with respect to the disclosure of certain proprietary and confidential information. Definition of confidential information. For the purposes of this agreement, confidential information shall include all information or material provided by the client to the agency, all information and material obtained during the investigation, and all information and material the agency provides to the client. Waiver of confidentiality. The client may waive his or her confidential rights to any, all, or part of the information and materials by giving the agency written approval to waive such rights. Disclaimer: agency shall not be held liable and shall be held harmless if agency releases confidential information or materials when ordered to under subpoena, summons, or other legally binding instrument of law ordered by a court of law.